This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com. Just getting back from the gym. Going to do my daily wrestling news updates. I did an interview with Sam Houston earlier, and I suggest people watch it. It was pretty good. Raw last night did a 0.49 rating. That's up coming out of the Survivor Series. Elisha, Elisa Spencer, has been charged with attempted assault and attempted violation of arts and culture affairs for jumping the guardrails and attacking Seth Rollins last night on Raw, continuing the Barclay Center tradition of fans attacking wrestlers, as that's the same building where the Bret Hart fan attack happened. And I just put up his name there as I'm having a hard time pronouncing it. WWE actually made me take down the video, the fan video that they didn't even film, that was only 9 seconds, that I had posted on this channel. So obviously they're very embarrassed that this multiple-time champion got taken down by a fat fan and clearly had no idea how to defend the double leg takedown. It should be muscle memory. WWE might want to consider enrolling their future champions in some basic self-defense or basic wrestling courses, just so it's not so embarrassing when these type of situations happen. Somebody asked me last night in the comments if I'd ever been attacked by fans, and I have. And it's never resulted in me coming out on the losing end. And someone said, well, I bet Hannibal would beat the fan up. I've been a bouncer for almost 20 years, 18 years, never had any assault charges. I know actually how to control people without having to pound them out and control situations, which you would think a WWE champion would also know. A guy that makes probably between 2 and 4 million a year does not even know a basic sprawl, which is pretty sad. Stephanie McMahon says her daughter, Aurora, who's now 15, has started training for wrestling. Their younger daughter has also expressed interest in wrestling. There's rumors there's some issues between Andrade and Charlotte Flair. Kenny Omega has vacated the AAA Mega title. And if anyone's wondering why I have some SWE Fury footage on this channel recently, it is because I have pretty much made up with the owners at this point. And they all are doing different projects now. And there's a couple of them that I might work with them on some of their new projects with. But in the meantime, there's other stuff I'm going to do with them as well. And the footage of SWE that I've been putting on this channel, and probably you will see more of it, is not new footage. It's footage that's already been posted on other platforms, but has never been on the Hannibal TV. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, the owners are all on to new projects now. And I have no interest in wasting further energy fighting. Texas is a big market, but a tough market, because all the companies run Texas, and it's better that some of us work together to make sure our projects are a success rather than fight each other. Benjamin says he saw on the attacker's Instagram, he posted a pre-show video saying exactly what he was going to do. Hello, Mitch. Clyde is a big fan. Appreciate it. Mitch, they did not pay me back. As far as I know, the company's legally out of business. but part of the making amends with me is there'll be cross posting of footage on this channel. So, as I said, it was a bad situation. One thing me and probably all the owners can agree on is that Teddy Long is a snake, and Teddy Long caused a lot of SWE's problems. And he was the one that told me to go back to Canada back when that company was like reaching its hottest point. And Charlie Haas even said it when he appeared on this channel. You can pinpoint the exact point in their progress where things started slipping. And that was it. Now, I'm not saying it was all me, but I was doing a lot for that company. And I was good friends with several of the owners. And I'd rather be friends again, as I said, and put the past behind us and work onto other projects. Who is Stephanie's daughter's actual dad? No idea. I did used to work. I'll tell you guys a funny story. I used to work with a bouncer here in Ottawa. I believe his name was Steve Campagna. It was like an Italian last name, but it was like one of my first bouncing jobs. As I said, I've been bouncing since I was 18. And he used to fuck Stephanie McMahon. He was a football player, and she, believe it or not, and this guy is the truth, I'll tell you how Stephanie confirmed it, but she actually used to actually come to Ottawa just to fuck this guy, and he lived with his parents, because in Italian families, you live with your parents till you're older, and she would sleep on his parents' couch when she would come here to party. And even up to those days, which was like 2001, 2002, she would still like give him tickets whenever WWE came to town. Now, they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. He was only having sex with her. But by the time I started having WWE tryouts, it was like 2004. And he had always said that to let him know if I was ever getting a tryout, he would put in a good word with Stephanie with me. But by this time, I had stopped bouncing there. I moved to Calgary, and it was before Facebook. I totally lost touch with him. So I thought, okay, here's Stephanie. I'm going to name drop him. But when I brought it up to Stephanie, first of all, I did not pronounce the last name wrong. Or I did pronounce his last name wrong. So, like, I had to explain to her who he was, former football player, lived in Ottawa, and so forth, how they knew him. I'm like, I think you guys used to go out. And then she's like, oh, yeah, Steve. And then she pronounced his name properly. But then she gave me, like, a look, like, why are you even bringing this up? So maybe that cost me. They never even looked at me those tryouts. I was just an extra, so I did nothing on those days. But maybe it wasn't a smart move to just bring up the name of a guy she used to fuck. So, anyways, there's also the rumor about her and Macho Man. Carl, I wonder if a fan ever jumped on Buzz Sawyer and Paul Orndorff. I bet they did, and I bet it would have been a very bad day. And speaking of SWE, they had a fan confront and actually push Selena De La Renta when she was managing the Blood Hunter in SWE Fury. And that was legitimate. That was 100% legitimate. There was also an incident with Selena at a rodeo with an overzealous cowboy that really pissed me off. And there was something with Charlie Haas and some fans, but I don't know if that was a work or not. Chris says, good evening from Massachusetts. Clyde, you know what? Let's all at least say, the fan attack was the most entertaining thing that's happened on Raw in years. Can we all at least agree on that? You guys let me know. Lance, what cities are going to have Great North Wrestling in 2022? Ottawa, for sure, for the 15th anniversary show that will likely take place in April or May. I'm just ironing out some final details on that, and it's going to be huge, massive. And then we'll be in the Ottawa Valley, which for those of you that don't live here, it's out in the country. So probably either Pembroke or Petawawa in the Ottawa Valley, likely further into the summer. And there might be other towns. It really depends what comes up. Rockland, probably, because I'm moving December 1st here. And I'm actually going to be living even closer than I am now to Rockland. And we have a lot of fans there. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot more Great North Wrestling in 2022 because Ontario is supposed to drop restrictions in April. And until April, not only am I really busy with American, British, and possibly even Qatar projects, but I don't want to deal with any restriction issues because I really got screwed over this summer dealing with restriction issues that put me in a situation where I lost a good chunk of money. But I still don't regret doing it. But it was unfortunate. Clyde wants to see a Hannibal action figure. Does anyone want to buy my large collection of action figures? Put it in the comment because I'm moving and I'm debating just selling them. But they're out of the packages. But I don't necessarily want to keep them anymore. Mike, I found it entertaining. I commend that guy for making WWE Raw entertaining. You might not agree with me. Justin, yeah, not only did WWE complain to YouTube, but my Facebook video of the fan cam 9-second footage has also mysteriously disappeared. So it's safe to say that WWE does not like this footage out there. Joe, well, she did get the better of me. She can bench press 315 pounds, and I learned that the hard way. My little encounter with her it was just to benefit the homeless in Montreal. So I pray to God that I don't get any heat from that. But I will say that she's gorgeous. Clyde, the Hillbilly Jim, was one of my favorite interviews, and he's quite possibly the nicest wrestler I ever met. The only wrestler that bought me dinner after an interview. Chris, the thumbs down button going away. That's the first I've heard of it. Apparently, Rollins is 0-3 against fans. I'm going to do an interview with Nails eventually. Mike, I've never been a Seth Rollins fan. I would say out of the group he was with, which I can't even remember their names now, but Roman Reigns was the best. The other guy that's in AEW now, whose name I'm fucking friggin' forgetting. What the hell is his name? John Moxley is second, and Seth Rollins is a distant third in that group. Shane agrees the fan attack was awesome. Clyde remembers Macho Man beating up a fan. Eric liked my interview with Sam Houston. Chris, I don't think we've seen the end of that. They were actually supposed to wrestle with the Texas title on the line at the June SWE event in Irving, Texas. But due to Teddy Long having a disagreement with me, who was sponsoring not only the Blood Hunter, but Selena. He ruined that. But maybe it was for the best. But speaking of Irving, Texas, I'm going to be back there to cover the big world-class pro wrestling event in December 11th, featuring these matches, among others. Eric Embry appearing, who I just talked to recently, Mark Lawrence commentating, and Mick Foley will be there. And tickets are as cheap as $10 for that one. It's going to be awesome. Thank you for reminding me the group was called The Shield. Speaking of which, I just found this picture the other day. Do I still have it on here? Speaking of The Shield, I think I may have already deleted it. Nope. I was doing security for a WWE event when Roman Reigns was with The Shield, and a fan sent me that picture. I think I'm actually bigger than Roman Reigns. Daniel's a Karrion Kross fan. A lot of people have been wanting to see Karrion Kross and Scarlett, or managed by Scarlett, versus the Blood Hunter with Blaze. Is that going to happen in 2022? That could be interesting. Yes, Clyde, it's going to be Carlito against the Blood Hunter. Carl, I don't think Seth is lucky the fans saved him. The fan was in full control when the referees came in, and the fan would have finished him undoubtedly, in my opinion. And I've been between amateur wrestling and grappling. I've been in 1,000 tussles at least, and I can tell you the fan was in no danger there. How can they do it? They can complain to YouTube. Bill, I wish I could move to the US. I'm not at that point. I'm breaking up with the person I've been with for 13 years off and on, and moving out of my house, moving 5 minutes down the road to a place that's going to be really good for filming. And I actually have to admit, I'm excited to move for multiple reasons. But this new place, I'm going to be filming a lot of cool stuff. I do not like Tatanka, so no. I don't interview people I don't like unless someone pays me to do it. Andrew, no, I never saw Ken Shamrock get taken like that by a fan. Joe would like to see the Blood Hunter against Cross. Holly, I have not heard of anything big in the UFO news lately. Clyde, I was actually speaking with Ted Hart's lawyer the other day, and I actually offered Ted Hart's lawyer to come on and talk to me about him. But he said, I believe he said Ted Hart's going to be on parole till he's about 43 or 44. He still has his ankle bracelet on. Eventually, that's going to be taken off, maybe sooner than later, but he's still going to be on parole. His best bet for getting back into wrestling, in my opinion, will be to appear in Canada where he has less heat. But I don't know if the conditions of his parole will let him come back to Canada. From what I understand, he's in Texas right now. And from what I know, 100% from the Texas wrestling scene, is he's not well liked in Texas. So I don't know. Trevor, yes, I could imagine that. Brian, considering WWE made it go down from my channel, no, I don't think it was a work. Polar Burr is going to the PCW Ultra event coming up January 28th. It's going to be cool. Going to be cool. Carl, it's truly for the best. 100%, it's for the best. I don't want to waste any more of my time. I'm going to be happy. Clyde with the alien. I would like to do an interview with Kevin Von Erich, Jim. Could happen. Michael. Well, I did get a silver. I was the alternate at that Olympic trial, so I don't think I did too bad for Greco-Roman wrestling. And I did do Greco because I had a torn meniscus. So basically, for a month before, I couldn't do any serious running training because my knee was dead. But I still managed, even though I hadn't wrestled for 10 years and I'd only been back for a year, I still managed to be the second best in Canada in the Greco Olympic trials. And in one of the tournaments leading up to the Olympic trials, in a freestyle match, I did defeat the guy who actually won the university league that year, the CIAU. So that's not bad, considering I didn't even have a coach at the Olympic trials. I was wrestling as an independent, training at TriStar MMA, and I had some various training partners like former NAIA All-American Evan Lavoie training with me, but he wasn't at the Olympic trials. I was just taking random coaches. So I didn't even have a coach with me. I didn't have a massage therapist. I didn't have a team behind me. So I'm really proud of that accomplishment and that I followed through with it. And I still love amateur wrestling. Brian, I lost all respect for Justin Credible for getting wasted before a match that he had that I actually sponsored him for and not finishing the match. Chris, I like both freestyle and Greco-Roman. I never actually wrestled or grappled with GSP, but I was training at the Montreal Wrestling Club when he was training there around 2011. So I would see him at training. We would have some communication, but they were very picky on who they let him train with. And I was bigger than him, even though he could certainly hold his own with me in wrestling and very likely beat me in amateur wrestling. They probably wouldn't have wanted to risk it because I was still a legitimate 280 pounds. And he makes so much money fighting. It's dangerous having him train with me. I did train with Rory McDonald at TriStar, and I think his name was Alex Garcia, another UFC fighter. We did train in various drills because at that point Rory never got as big as GSP, but at that point he like could wrestle with me and do drills with me, and it wouldn't be that risky because also he was lower on the card. He didn't have to be as careful. Lance, I've been thinking of going to Belleville for a long time. It's very possible Great North Wrestling will go to Belleville if I could find a venue there, because we have a lot of fans in Belleville. So it's interesting that you bring that up. Michael, I'm no longer a wrestler. I'm a promoter. I'm a producer of wrestling. I'm an editor of wrestling. I'm a wrestling reporter. You could say I'm a wrestling booker. So there you go. Sunset Moth, I don't think Justin Credible, he ran away from the Blood Hunter in their match. So I don't think you're going to see Justin Credible within 3 miles of the Blood Hunter anytime soon. because he's a chicken. And anyone that wants to watch that match, Just Incredible quitting the match like a pussy, I'll pin it to the top of the comments when I'm done this. But for now, I'm checking out. I actually got some packing to do since I'm moving soon. Bye.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99